Today's Red Dead Redemption 2 video, we're going to be exploring a secret mine in New Austin, hunting one of the most dangerous bounties in Red Dead Redemption 2. Now, the only reason I stumbled across this bounty is because a couple of days ago, I did something really dumb. So the save and load menus look super similar in Red Dead Redemption 2. And long story short, I accidentally saved over my completed epilogue save. And I had explored like all of New Austin, and obviously I'd completed the epilogue, so I had to start the epilogue over again, and that was like 2 or 3 hours of just going through farm missions and whatnot, so it was kind of unfortunate to have to go through that, and because of that, I had to go re-explore areas to unlock all the stagecoach travel. So I was going to Armadillo, I was going to Tumbleweed, and when I went into Tumbleweed, I actually came across a chance encounter. These are like the little white blips that happen on your mini-map that might happen, might not happen. And I was curious because I'd never seen this before. And what happens next was pretty shocking.
Sheriff? I'd vote for that gun.
Look what I found! He's in the Del Lobo gang!
You know what they do with them 10 stars in Mexico, boy?
Hey! Hey!
Keep your
What's
distance.
all the
We got
nonsense?
business here.
You don't release me now. 12 angry Mexicans is gonna ride through this town.
Just passing through.
Burn it all to hell.
Don't mind me.
Only lock me up if you want this town to burn, Sheriff.
We do not respond amicably to threats. What's the charge?
He was robbing a stage.
Then the sentence is death. Make
Hey,
your
no!
peace,
The
partner.
boy was gonna put me in cell.
This is wartime, and like you said,
No!
we can't take the risk.
Sheriff?
Okay. From now on, trials are going to be quick, and justice even quicker. We will not submit to these lawless games. Get this trash out of town. Where there's one Del Lobo, there'll be more.
Yes, sir. Sheriff?
Now you can be a help or hindrance. You want to help? Follow me in.
So was that crazy or what? This sheriff comes out of the Tumbleweed jail cell, his deputy has delivered him a Del Lobo gang member, and he just executes him right on the spot. No trial, no nothing. He just gives him straight up execution. So that was crazy. And I actually had to look up what this was. Apparently it's a chance encounter in-game called the Del Lobo Execution. And what it actually does is it unlocks 2 special bounties that you can do once you are in Tumbleweed. And that was pretty cool. So I wanted to check out these bounties because the Del Lobo gang is one that you'll run into a lot if you explore New Austin. And I wanted to maybe get a little bit more backstory here on these guys, what they were about, and a whole lot more. So I ended up looking at the wanted poster. His name is Joaquin Arroyo. He is wanted for murder, robbery, and arson. He is 42, 5'9", 150 pounds, and spotted by Solomon's Folly. And we actually need him alive. So the really cool bounty, exploring the secret mine, you actually have to do this bounty first, or at least in the order I got them, you had to do them first. And we had to locate this guy alive. It was a pretty simple bounty. We just had to like eavesdrop on these guys in the barn. We left one of them alive, and we found out that our target was near the railroad. Now, when we got to the railroad, we had to do some figuring out of who our target was, because once again, we couldn't kill them all. So I didn't want to take a chance of just shooting all 3 of these guys, so you kind of have to question them to figure out who's who.
Joaquin Arroyo. Which one are you? Don't make me kill you, son. I said I'd bring you in alive.
Arroyo! Arroyo! Run!
Now, once you've done
that, it's pretty straightforward. All we have to do is lasso our target, put him on the back of our horse. Now we need to take him back to the Tumbleweed jail to ultimately claim our bounty. And we actually get a little bit of a cutscene once we bring him back to the sheriff. Take a listen to this.
Arroyo?
I ordered him. Didn't have much hope of seeing him, though. Put him in the cell.
You couldn't come get me, Sheriff? You yellow belly, you coward. This is some vaquero.
I could have come after you, Arroyo, but it's so damn hot out there, I didn't want to sweat.
My friend, they're gonna come for you.
Then they'll die too. Now save some breath for my questions, boy.
So our reward there is not much. It is $60. However, the sheriff says that we will have more posters up soon, referring to Tumbleweed having more posters up soon. So I thought this was going to be a cool opportunity to keep coming back and checking them out. So I simply waited a day or two. I came back to the jail and we have a new reward. So it is Esteban Cortez, who is wanted dead or alive, capture or killing. He is wanted for the acts of murder, robbery of stagecoaches, and he was last seen near Gap Tooth Breach. And this is a really cool spot that you can go to in game. It's like this abandoned coal mine, apparently. And while I was actually on the way to this place, I heard a loud explosion. And I didn't know if I was hearing something or if it actually happened. Take a listen to this. It was seriously a huge boom. Now, when you get there, you might see on your mini-map, there's a couple of red icons sort of huddle around this wagon, and there's someone that actually starts to come out of the mine itself, and he starts screaming at the people outside.
You think you hit it? Hey! We're meant to be holding up here, aren't we? So why are you putting up a goddamn 21-gun salute? Quiet down. You think I'm angry? You should see Esteban. He's eating rocks down in the mine. He's so mad. I swear, one more boom, he's gonna come up here and take your head off.
Okay. You hear that? No more fun, amigos.
I'm serious. All your heads, taken off one by one, put in a nice pretty row like a poppy field. Stop it. Now, idiotos.
So apparently those were the guys that set off the explosion, and they weren't supposed to do that. Now from there, you can actually approach the members sitting around the campfire, but they're obviously not going to take too kindly to that. So from there, you just basically have to dispose of them all, and then you ultimately have to make your way inside of the mine. Now, one thing I would definitely be careful about here is the TNT that you guys can see. So you can shoot that, but NPCs can shoot that as well. So it's kind of in your best interest to either get rid of it or you be the one that explodes it so that you don't end up getting blown up by the TNT. And because this is Dead or Alive, our friend Esteban Cortez was just chilling in the back of the mine, and I ended up shooting him. I didn't even know it was really him. I just fired and it said I had accidentally killed him. So he's just hanging about right there. There's really only one other secret room that you can actually go into in this mine. Now, what's interesting is, like a lot of the locations in New Austin, this mine was fully explorable in the first Red Dead Redemption game. It was one you could actually go into in single player and in multiplayer. So it is kind of neat to see the past progression of this mine and how it ultimately changed in Red Dead Redemption. So we'll actually come back and check out the mine a little bit later because I do think it's pretty cool. However, if you do try and get out of the mine, some backup will actually arrive. You just simply need to take them out, and then you need to put Esteban's body on the back of your horse and proceed to go back to the Tumbleweed Jail. And if you bring him into the Tumbleweed Jail, the sheriff will have specific instructions for you to actually dump him out back. And once you do that, you go back to the sheriff's office, you collect your reward, which is $65, and the sheriff tells you that that's it. There's not going to be any more bounties in Tumbleweed. And that's true. There's only 2 bounties that you can encounter in Tumbleweed. But anyways, let's go back to the mine because the mine is really cool. And I also wanted to see sort of the surrounding area. Apparently, this is like a coal mine, or if you go into some of the other buildings, it's a coal mine, and you can actually see coal on like the inside of the mine itself. The very end of it is actually completely blocked off. There's one mine in-game called Barrel's Dream where you literally have to like activate a dynamite plunger to go any further, but there was no option to do such a thing here. So it looks like it's just a very little simple mine shaft. And if you actually look on the map, like you wouldn't know this is here unless you were actually in the area. It sort of like activates this underground map that you can see if you actually go here. So that is pretty cool. Now, one thing that was really interesting, as you guys can see there on the mini-map, there seems to be a lot more explorable area of this mine. So I don't know if I just didn't find the right entrance or if this is something that we might be able to access later on. Because as you guys can see there, we just are able to access that really narrow sliver, but there's like this big bubble part in the back that we couldn't get access to. So it kind of begs the question, is something hiding back there? Is Rockstar keeping something in there? Is this going to be explorable at another date or time? I think those questions will have to be answered at another date because I was unable to. Now, there's a couple of other buildings in the surrounding area that you can actually go inside. There isn't really anything of significance there. And I also wanted to wait till nighttime to see if anything interesting happened at night. And really the only thing interesting that happens is the lights come on. It does add for sort of a creepier effect, but it really doesn't offer anything all that unique. But anyways, that right there is my experience bounty hunting some of the most deadliest criminals in Red Dead Redemption 2, and at the same time getting to explore a pretty cool secret mine shaft. And if the mine shaft's anything like the one we saw in GTA 5, and even some of the other ones in game like Barrel's Dream, there's bound to be some secrets in there that I might have missed or might not have known about. So as always, I'd love to hear from you guys in the comments down below. Please let me know if you've been in this mine. Did I miss something? Is there another entrance? Let me know your thoughts, opinions, and more in the comments down below.